This program is brought to you by the Labatt Brewing Company Limited, sponsors of Labatt's Blue Jays baseball. August delivers a swing and a fly ball. Hit deep left center. Hit way back there. Going, gone! Number one in the SkyDome. The windup, the 2-0 pitch, a swing, and a base hit into left field. Roberto Keller has broken up the Dave Steib perfect game bid.
Fly ball, right field, it's deep. It could be, it could be. It's off the wall. The Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays win it.
The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed, and the Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays are on their way to the 1989 American League Championship Series. These are the moments and memories that took the 1989 Toronto Blue Jays sky high. Spring in Dunedin, Florida. For the Blue Jays, the sweet anticipation of a new season.
Looking good.
And true enough for any team, after a long winter layoff, looking a little rusty.
Oh, my God, I'm sorry.
Thrown off kilter by two disappointing seasons, the Blue Jays cast their fate with an enviable core of stars. So convincing, they were picked to win the American League East. But they'd been picked to win before and didn't. And since George Bell did not live up to expectations, redemption was in order.
Guys are getting tired of finishing second, you know, just missing out and whatever it might be. Some way we always finish second. I think this year guys from the start want to do what they're going to have to do to try to win this thing.
With redemption very much on everybody's mind, Jimmy Williams and company faced the season a picture of promise. But this picture told the story of April. The Blue Jays opened the season with 6 one-run games and lost 4 of them. Even worse, 5 days into the season, Tony Fernandez followed up his first career grand slam by taking a pitch in the face. He suffered a fractured cheekbone and would miss 3 weeks, a loss the team could not afford.
I was talking to him in the hospital the night it happened, and he said, I don't know why I got that comfortable against Guante. You know, he can be wild at times, and he said with 2 strikes on me, I was battling the guy, and next thing you know, I was looking for a forkball, something off speed, and he threw me a fastball up and in, and I froze. It's tough to replace a guy like Tony because of his leadership on the field as well.
Jesse's 8 seasons of leadership were undeniable, but he couldn't shake a bad start. And though the club took pride in sticking with its players, it felt a change was needed. And so, with the Blue Jays in last place on the last day of April, Jesse Barfield was traded to the Yankees. If April had been a cruel month, May wasn't looking much better. The bullpen was erratic, and by the middle of the month, Toronto had lost 12 games by 1 run. Plus, late-inning rallies were killing the Blue Jays. They got beat 15 times after the 6th inning, numbers that were stacked up against Jimmy Williams.
I tell you, this whole thing is just a reflection of the month of baseball the Jays have played.
My moves are, in my mind, thought out prior to the time that I make them, and they're not going to work out all the time, and I guess right now they're working out less than maybe before.
When things did not improve, Williams was let go, and for the time being, the team was turned over to Cito. Another change Pat Gillick felt was necessary.
I don't think there was any inner turmoil or any of those type of things. It just was a situation where the players weren't playing up their capability, and might not necessarily have been Jim's fault at all. In fact, I don't think it was, but we just need to make a change to hopefully get this train back on the tracks.
But the numbers on May 15th weren't promising. 12 games below 500 and in 6th place. For a brand new manager, not exactly an ideal way to start. But Cito's debut was a booming success, thanks mostly to George Bell's booming bat. The Blue Jays followed Bell's lead with a welcome burst of offense, and with 9 hits in all, beat the Indians, handing Cito his first win. Things started to brighten. Tony Fernandez was back off the disabled list and right back in sync. The Blue Jays didn't exactly tear up the league, but they played better than .500 the rest of May, and more than anything, got their confidence back. If the team was getting a new look, so was the city. Toronto was about to unveil its magnificent SkyDome. And so, after more than 12 seasons, the Blue Jays were leaving Exhibition Stadium. And to the players, it proved to be a parting of some sweet sorrow.
The best years that I've had in baseball have been here at Exhibition Stadium and in Toronto at this ballpark. I came over here just in the early stages when the ball club was really starting to develop and come on. So it's been a lot of fun and a lot of good times here in this ballpark.
The memories of losing 100 ball games and when Bobby Cox came in and turned his organization around, this will always be here. The memories of 1985 of winning the championship will always be here.
9 years the Blue Jay fans have waited for this. There's a drive to George Bell. He's got to come in. He's there. He's got it. The Blue Jays have won it. The Jays have won it. They've won the Eastern Division Championship. How about those Toronto Blue Jays? They've done it.
Not all the memories were so sublime. Remember this Mosby mayhem?
There goes Mosby. Picked a good pitch to go on. Terrible throw. Mosby doesn't know where the throw is. He's going back to first base. Is he going to steal first? He steals first. Now he's going to steal second again. I've never seen it before.
That was something that I just wanted to make a video for the kids for on how to do things twice and be successful at doing so.
Exhibition Stadium was full of the unexpected. Remember the very first opening day and a hero named Doug Ault?
It was very, very cold. We got out here early and it was snowing. We couldn't hit, we couldn't do anything. They were trying to push the snow off the field, and I felt there's no way we're going to play. The Zambonis were all over the place. Some of the White Sox players over there were playing hockey on the snow with shin guards from the catcher. The fans really got into it, and fortunately enough, I was able to have a good day, and we won the first game.
During one visit, the Detroit Tigers had a few laughs battling altogether different elements.
What made it so funny was Detroit takes the field, and Winsky or whoever it is over there that came out from the dugout, and he hit some fly balls to right field. And I think that for the most part, it was a rookie out there, and he was chasing down every ball that he hit when he shouldn't have been. He should have said, hey, I simply can't see it, and at least faked it to where they'd call the game, and boom, they wouldn't have to play it. Came up the next at bat, and I hit a home run that was lost in the fog and rolled to the fence.
Yes, sir, it was one for the books. And to this day, we remember it as Gruber's inside the fog home run.
Well, it's turned into a fiasco now.
It wasn't only the weather that inspired such moments. Invited or not, the stadium's ever-present Seagulls won lasting fame at the hands of New York Yankee Dave Winfield. A murderous incident the fans would not forget. And who could forget one of Exhibition Stadium's most curious features? Suffice it to say, if you were sitting out in left field, you were out in left field.
Well, we came 500 miles to see this. Blue Jays.
Choice seats or no, every seat was taken up on May 28th, when Toronto invited players from the past to pay their final respects to Exhibition Stadium. And the finale was memorable, a 10th inning home run by George Bell to win the game.
Swing and a drive. Oh, baby, what an ending to a story. It's out of here. Home run, George Bell to win it. It ends as it began. The Blue Jays defeating the Chicago White Sox.
A home run in the first game and a blast in the last. All that's history now. More than 12 years of history. But as June approached and the Blue Jays packed up for the SkyDome, the numbers that mattered most were the 3 games coming right up at Fenway Park. Hoping to lose their view of last place, the Blue Jays were in full swing, and in the series bashed Boston pitching for 38 hits. Most of the bashing came from red-hot rookie Junior Felix. In 2 games, he delivered 8 RBIs.
Hit well to center field. Burks on the run, back to the triangle, still running, and he can't make the play. It's off the door out there, and it might well clear all the bases. Felix steaming around toward the plate, and he scores! Junior Felix with an inside-the-park home run.
An inside-the-park grand slam. Now, when have we seen one of those?
The truly explosive Felix led the Blue Jays to 2 straight wins, providing a little bit of everything.
Junior is, in one word, he's awesome. And, well, he runs, he throws, he hits with power for a little guy. He handles himself like a veteran. I swear he's been here at least 10 years.
But after Felix's exploits in the first 2 games, the perspective for the finale turned dramatically in favor of Boston. The pitch. There's a ball hit hard to left field. It's way up there and out of here. A 3-run shot, and Boston steams out in front by a score of 5-0. By the end of the 6th inning, Boston led 10-0, and it looked as if the Blue Jays didn't know if they were coming or going. But as out of sync as they looked, they were not about to surrender.
That game I remember extremely well because we had a feeling on the bench that we were going to break loose and we were going to win that game.
Ripped up the middle, base hit center field. Bell scores. McGriff scores. And the Red Sox lead is trimmed to 10-4. Line to left center field, a base hit. Heap over to cut it off. He can't do it. It rolls to the wall. Mosby hits third. He scores. It's 10-5 Boston.
Well, it was 10-7 Boston when the Blue Jays loaded the bases and put on their rally towels for Ernie Witt.
I wasn't thinking home run at that situation, and Lee's he's their stopper and he's a power pitcher. I feel I'm a pretty good fastball hitter, so I was looking fastball and he got it over the plate for me.
2-1 delivery. A swing and a drive. Hit deep to right field. Hit way back, and gone! It's out of here! Grand slam home run, Ernie Witt. Ernie Witt has hit it out. A big welcoming committee at the plate, and the Blue Jays have come all the way back in Boston. But in this game, which proved to be a turning point of the season for Toronto, neither side would quit. The Red Sox came back to tie it in the 9th. And then in the 12th, Toronto found a hero in none other than Junior Felix. Lamp delivers. There's a swing and a belt. Hit deep to right field. Hit way back there, way back, and see you later. Home run, Junior Felix. A 2-run shot, and the Blue Jays will take the lead 13-11. 3 outs later, they wrapped up the comeback and the sweep. Ward works, and strike 3 called on the outside corner. A blistering fastball to end it. What a ball game for the Blue Jays. One for the books right here. And what a start for Cito Gaston. Prior to the Red Sox series, he was given the managing job for good. Now, with a convincing sweep of the Red Sox, Cito and the Blue Jays were coming on. Under Gaston, Toronto won 11 of 18 and climbed out of last place for good. On June 5th, they headed home to the new SkyDome, which was little more than a vision just 4 years ago.
We have reached a decision as to the site. We have the necessary information to proceed with the construction of a first-class stadium on that site, and we have assurances that it can be equipped with a retractable roof that will in fact work.
Groundbreaking began in October 1986, and 2.5 years later, construction was nearly complete. The SkyDome would house a hotel, 5 restaurants, the biggest ever video scoreboard, and to top it all off, a technological wonder.
Of course, our rotatable roof is world-renowned by now, I would assume. When it's fully retracted, 99%
91% of the whole stadium will be in sunlight. This was a simple solution that achieved what we wanted to achieve, which was a round dome on a round stadium, which could retract and telescope all at one end of the stadium and still remain in its retracted position. So you have a combination of straight rollback motion panels and a panel which moves on a circular track. And that's the secret.
Amazingly enough, the SkyDome was completed on schedule. And on June 5th, the Blue Jays moved in, full of fanfare for the most uncommon ballpark anywhere.
The Toronto SkyDome, the first of its kind, the first retractable dome anywhere.
One more time, Cito, please.
Last time.
Okay.
Got it?
Thanks very much.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Our great home. That's what it's all about. Right
Waiting
here.
for the opening of the SkyDome.
Let's see what kind of cards Fred's got today. Freddie's got really bad cards. Oh, man.
Over, man. Get that camera out of here, man.
George,
What are you doing?
George doesn't like cameras, I guess.
You guys know I don't like no camera.
So this thing is supposed to circle around. Yeah, the thing circles all around and goes underneath here behind these flags.
Esa vaina está chulo, ¿eh? Hola.
These are our showers right here. Now, where else can you find some nice showers like this? I mean, come on. Temperature gauge right there. Heats up to whatever you want it. Just watch how fast this puppy climbs up here. Oh, I forgot. No hot water for the first 2 months. It's going to be cold in Toronto.
Get your opening day SkyDome programs.
A ticket to this event was hard to come by as more than 48,000 Blue Jay fans packed the SkyDome for the opener. The new ballpark brought great expectations for a Blue Jay turnaround. But first things first, like the very first pitch, delivered by Jimmy Key, called a strike and put away for posterity. Blue Jay fans were itching to test out the new fences. And in the second inning, big Fred McGriff obliged.
August delivers a swing and a fly ball. Hit deep left center. Hit way back there. Going, gone! There it is! Number 1 in the SkyDome, and it's Freddie McGriff.
And for those who preferred to gaze at the action from the center field restaurant, the view suited them just fine.
This is like Gretzky in Los Angeles, man. This is baseball in Toronto. I mean, we've got the best.
But the Brewers got the best of the Blue Jays and took the SkyDome opener 5-3. Not to worry, except that McGriff was the only Blue Jay hitting the ball out of the SkyDome. The fences seemed perfectly reachable, but batters had all kinds of trouble.
1-1 the score. Ernie Witt leads off the bottom of the 7th with a deep drive to right center. Kutcher there. I cannot imagine what it takes to get a ball out of this ballpark. We've seen some very well-hit balls, but you really have to get it down the line because once it gets out in those power alleys, it just dies.
True, the power alleys were 10 feet longer than exhibition stadiums. But could there be more to it than that?
I could feel the blowers being turned on.
I had a friend that was an engineer, and his theory was that all the cement in this place wasn't quite dry when we moved in here.
I was told at about, 45 minutes after the game starts, they turn on the air conditioning unit, even though it is an open-air stadium.
If you can believe that or not, I don't know.
There must be something going on that they don't want to tell us. After the cement dries, as one guy would say, after the burgers are turned down, after the blowers are turned up, after all these things are done and all worked out, I think it'd be a good ballpark to hit in.
No matter how big the ballpark, Big Fred had the power. Undaunted by the SkyDome, he would lead the league with 36 homers. At the plate or at first base, McGriff had all the right moves.
Wow.
Fred McGriff is in number 22.
And there's a long one. See you later.
Kiss it goodbye.
Wow. He's a big guy that hits the ball about 400 or 500 feet most of the time he walks in there, and he has a great eye, as we say in baseball, to enable him to get a good pitch to hit that far.
Every day he goes out there, he can amaze you with his power. A lot of pitchers try to pitch around him because of his awesome display of power that he has.
3-2 count. Don Paul's pitch is swung on and drilled to right field. Sosa back looking up. Goodbye, home run. Snyder puts it in. There's one to right field. Deep line drive. Goodbye, home run. Boy, did he get a hold of that one.
It's more or less just bat speed, getting the head of the bat out, and being quick, using my whole body to hit, not just using my arms or my legs, just getting everything into it and just getting the head out.
The approach has paid off fast. In just 3 major league seasons, McGriff has hit 90 home runs. That kind of power has inspired short but meaningful praise.
Wow.
The Blue Jays might have said the same thing about their standing on July 1st. They pulled into 4th place and were still climbing. On July 11th at Anaheim Stadium, baseball turned away from the pennant races to focus on this year's All-Stars. For the 3rd time, Tony Fernandez was chosen. And for the first time, Kelly Gruber. 2 of the league's bright young stars who've been playing brilliantly side by side for 4 seasons.
I love to field. I love to take my glove. When it's come to gloves, you know, I'm obsessed by it. I like to work out. My work habits are much better on the field than hitting. Hitting, you know, I can go out, get loose, and be ready for the game. But at fielding, you know, I love. It's just been part of me since I was a little kid. I enjoy fielding ground balls.
Fernandez was nearly flawless at short, setting a major league record with 6 errors in 140 games. Day in and day out, Tony continued to amaze.
Watch this play by Fernandez. He's got him.
Fernandez over. Oh, yes. What a play.
A shot right at Fernandez. What a play.
He doesn't amaze me at the plays he makes anymore. He amazes me on the that he should be able to get to, and he's always on the mark. But it's that great play that he consistently makes all the time that amazes me.
Nothing amazing about Gruber, just a good neck for getting results.
There's a drive deep to left. Kiss it goodbye. The most valuable on this Toronto Blue Jay team is Kelly Gruber. He has done it all.
Such as turn a few tricks.
Gruber dives. He's got to hurry. It's Ricky Henderson.
Kelly also helped out for 9 games in right field. But while his glove was an asset, his better with age. Gruber had a career-high 18 homers and a .290 average. And on April 16th against the Royals, he did what Blue Jay had ever done.
He's a single away from hitting for the cycle. That could be the single. Here comes Eisenreich charging, but he won't get there. Another Toronto run scores. Gruber has hit for the cycle.
Even infield, the Blue Jays fell 10 games out in early July. But with the bullpen in the midst of a turnaround, they were about to enter the pennant picture. No one typified the turn. After a so-so start, he allowed only 3 runs in his last 23 games. In June and July, the bullpen connection was coming through loud and clear. Most of all, who would end up with 15 saves. Tom Henke didn't flourish in the early going. After June, 34 appearances. For the 4th year in a row, Henke collected 20 saves, all of which makes Terminator the last word in Toronto.
Look at Tom Henke. He has struck out and faced. His best performance of the year.
I am the stopper on this team. I think if the game is on the line and it's a big game, I think Cito's going to go to me.
H-E-N-K-E. Terminator. Terminator. You can bring him in now, but he's even better later. Terminator. Terminator. Well, he blows it by them, never throws a tater.
Henke was terminating for a team in contention.
Lineup scorecards, see their program.
Toronto,
If Cito Gaston was little known before, Toronto's good fortune changed all. Manager into the spotlight. All of that was quite a change for the former batting coach, who spent the better part of 7 seasons quietly turning young but largely undisciplined pupils into accomplished major league. Cito's success as a coach stemmed in part from his own experience as a player. He spent most of his 10 major league seasons with the Padres. His best 70 when he was an all-star. Having come, Cito had clear of his players.
Cito is basically a laid-back type of person. I think what has really helped Cito is that his presence in the dugout is that he's very calm. He's very relaxed. And that presence, I think, has relaxed a lot of players on this team.
My door is open, and I know managers say that all the time, but I think these guys really believe. I said that, and if I do something, I just try to explain to them what I'm trying to do. If they disagree with it, with what I'm doing, we'll sit down and talk about it.
An approach that also won him the respect of his pitchers.
He comes out there and talks to you, or you have some input as far as whether or not you stay in the game. And as far as I'm concerned, you have to have that kind of rapport with the pitcher.
Most of all, you have to win. And under Cito, the Blue Jays would play the best baseball of any major league team. A turnaround for which he was runner-up manager of the year. On the morning of August 4th, the Blue Jays were 3 games back. That night, they would move even closer, thanks to a pitching performance that was nearly perfect. Here at the SkyDome, tension that you could cut with a knife. Not a Yankee has reached first base. Dave Steib is 3 out. Steib works. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. Morris with a big rip, and he's gone on a strikeout.
It was a baseball time because you knew what was going on. You were seeing history in a guy that was simply overpowering.
There you are with Steve, always on the edge.
1 out. Kelly on deck for the Yankees. Nothing but goose eggs on the Yankee totals. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. A deafening roar from a record crowd of 48,000.
I've never caught a no-hitter in the big leagues, and yeah, I think it would be very rewarding for every player on the field to be a part of that.
I was thinking, I hope the guy hit the ball close to me. Anything close to me, I'm going to dive for the ball, and I'm going to get him.
You can feel it coming on in the night. You can feel something happen.
Roberto Kelly, the number 9 hitter in the Yankee lineup, has struck out twice tonight. Steve winds. Kelly takes it inside, ball 1. Also, just missing inside. Here it comes. Breaking ball inside, ball 2 to Kelly, 2-0. Steve now goes to the rosin bag. Looks into Ernie Witt. The windup, the 2-0 pitch, a swing, and a base hit into left field. It'll drop in, a base hit to left field. Kelly goes to second as the throw from Bell comes in wide. And Roberto Kelly has broken up the Dave Steib perfect game bid with a double.
He fell behind 2-0, and we had been throwing him a lot of breaking balls the whole game. We've been successful with it, but Roberto Kelly hit a good pitch, and there's just nothing that you can do about it.
In these situations, I don't mind having that kind of tough luck. I mean, if I can take every game in the 9th inning with a no-hitter, I know I'm going to win. So if the tough luck is losing the no-hitter, I'll take that tough luck.
That Steib has lost 3 no-hitters in the 9th inning is more than anything a sign of success. He came back from a sour season in 1986, and winning 17 games this year was named Labatt's top pitcher.
I've changed the way I pitched, and that was one of the things that I learned through that process. It's very rewarding now to go out there and pitch the way that I'm capable of. It was really tough struggling that year, and then having bounced back from that.
He's a great pitcher. He's a competitor. He's a guy that we call a gamer as well. You know, when the chips are down, you want him in there because he's a fighter. He doesn't quit, he doesn't give up, and that's the thing that keeps him going.
The winningest pitcher in Blue Jay history. All the better and all the wiser. And the leader of the staff that features Jimmy Key, one of the most talented left-handers in the league. But after 4 straight winning seasons, Jimmy went hot and cold. Still, 2 weeks on the disabled list in August helped strengthen Key's arm, and he finished by winning 6 of his last 7. John Cerruti might have wished for more runs, especially early on. Still, he won 11 games and topped Blue Jay starters with an ERA just over 3. Todd Stottlemyre brings still more talent to a young staff. Getting a taste of the majors for the 2nd year, he moved to starter in July, and in winning 5 straight, ended up strong. But it takes more to spell a pennant, and in Toronto's case, it took ex-Mets, Mookie Wilson and Lee Mazzilli. They arrived in August and instantly made the Blue Jays a stronger team.
Knowing that these are experienced veterans, they've been there, they know what it's like to win, is a big plus, a big help to a lot of the younger kids, especially the ones that haven't been there. I know I would look to them when the chips are down, what to do, how to respond, and they're a great asset to our club.
Mazzilli lived up to his princely pinch-hitting credentials and came off the bench to deliver time and again. And so the Blue Jays sailed into the pennant race with a stronger bench and a dynamo in the outfield. Mookie brought his characteristic spark and in the middle of August caught fire, hitting in 14 straight games with an average of .460. He was, in every way, a mover and shaker.
Most people know who have seen Mookie play or watched Mookie play knows that he's all out 100% every time he steps out on the field. So he brings a lot of excitement to this club, and if I wasn't sitting over there in the corner, I'd pay to go watch him play, really.
Even though you're not hitting a lot of times, and you well know this, that there's still things you can do to have ball clubs win, getting guys over, hitting the cutoff man, hustling right out bases, and that type of thing. And, you know, that's one thing that I've never let down is my hustling. That's part of my game that I will never lose, even when I can't play anymore.
Mookie's hustle won over the fans. No player became so popular so fast.
Other than brains, most of the players don't have brains.
Cries of Mookie and cries of victory filled August nights. The Blue Jays charged into the month, full of momentum and full of confidence. What they weren't doing in April and May, they were doing in a big way now. And in climbing past team after team, won 20 of 29. In a final surge, they closed out the month going 9-1.
The Blue Jays have beaten the Rangers 2-1 as John Cerruti pitches a gem of a ball game today. 2-strike delivery. Calderon to short. This could be the ball game. Fernandez one. Lariano double play. Jays win. The 1-2 pitch, 2 outs.
The Toronto Blue Jays have now won 6 in a row.
The streak landed the Blue Jays in second, but the next day, George Bell carried them into first.
Bell's got a 21-game hit streak, so now Bell will try probably for the final time of the game.
Deep to left field. He may have continued it the good way. Goodbye, home run. 22-game hit streak.
The streak ended. The Blue Jays were in first, and Bell was again Toronto's most commanding player. In July and August, he hit .350 and finally redeemed his disappointing numbers of 88. As Labatt's Player of the Year, George would hit 18 homers, and for the third time in 4 seasons, drive in more than 100 runs.
High fly ball, left field. Carter back on the track. It's out of here. A home run, George Bell. Ground ball, base hit. Bell's charging. The throw to the plate. Witt's got him. He's out of there.
1-2 delivery. It's up. It's deep. Goodbye. Home run. George Bell.
Everyone knows what kind of offensive player George Bell is, but I think he's a total player. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever played with in my life, and you're never going to see another George Bell in this game. Never.
He already proved that he's one of the best ball players all around. You know, he plays hard, and I respect him for that. Because when you see a guy that I tried to play baseball, don't matter what, you ought to respect that guy.
Bell's fiercely competitive nature is perhaps best understood and most appreciated by those who watch him play every day.
George is a gamer, you know. If you're playing against George and you don't know George, you probably don't like him, but if he's on your team, you'll love him because he's out here every day just to win.
When they see a baseball card or they see my face on the TV, they say, George Bell, he was the winner. That's the only thing I want them to remember me. Because every time I put my uniform on, the only thing I've got in my mind is win. And just no doubt on my mind, nothing else. Win. That's the #1 thing in my life.
Bell brought the Blue Jays into September, tied for first with a month to go.
Now that we're so close, I would like to see us just get a tad more fired up and just prove to the people, as well as ourselves and to all of Canada, that we are that ball club that everybody said that we were. And we're not the chokers that they say we are, and we can come back and just make a great showing of ourselves.
The Blue Jays were loose, but hungry, and time and again in September fought back defeat with clutch hitting. They won 6 extra inning games to give their fans a month of drama.
Ground ball. An error by a mile. Bell scores. The Blue Jays win it. 3-2. How about these Blue Jays?
But how about those Orioles, playing just as tough and prompting a September of dueling dramatics?
A drive to left field. Carter racing back. It's gone.
A swing and a fly ball left field. It is all over.
That's the ball game.
Fly ball, right field, it's deep. It could be. It could be. It's off the wall. The Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays win it.
Strike 3 called, and the Orioles win it. The Orioles have moved to within 1 game of the Toronto Blue Jays.
And there it stayed. Baltimore 1 game back of Toronto. 3 games left in the season, and all 3 against each other. And all 3 in Toronto, where Blue Jay fans flocked to the SkyDome in record numbers. Selling out 50 of 54 games there, the Blue Jays drew almost 3.4 million, the 3rd highest attendance in Major League history. Success at the gate and on the field may be traced directly to the front office, where Pat Gillick and team president Paul Beeston have presided since the beginning. Now on September 29th, Blue Jay fans had the hottest ticket in baseball.
Hi, I'm Bob Melvin of the Baltimore Orioles. Welcome to the Showdown Series here in Toronto this weekend.
This may be the kind of drama fans love, but for the players, the pressure of a whole season coming down to 3 games can be almost unbearable.
We don't want it this way, believe me. You don't want to be here with your heart rate up. You don't want to be here with high blood pressure, but this is what it's all about, baseball. I mean, at its best.
and the best man will win in this series. It's not a matter of someone lucked out. This is it.
There's no reason to watch the scoreboard anymore because who you need to beat is right across the field from you.
The showdown was spirited right from the start. Phil Bradley jumped on Todd Stottlemyre with an offer he couldn't refuse.
There's a drive deep to left. Look at this. Phil Bradley, the first pitch of the ball game, has hit a home run. And the book on Bradley, he's a first ball fastball hitter.
Bradley's homer put the Orioles up 1-0. But it wasn't just Baltimore offense that had the Blue Jays worried. The Ballard, who was winning in Toronto, shut him out for 7 innings, as the Orioles still led 1-0. But in the 8th inning, Frank Robinson had reason to worry. The Blue Jays started to stir. Greg Olson came in, and pinch runner Tom Lawless took off.
There goes Lawless, first pitch. The throw by Quirk. Lawless has stolen the base, but he'll stay there.
Not for long, Lawless moved to third. And with Kelly Gruber up, opportunity came a-knocking.
It's got by him. Here comes Lawless. The game is tied. The game is tied.
The game was still tied in the bottom of the 11th when Manny Lee led off with a single. He left for pinch runner Nelson Liriano, who went to second. With Lloyd Mosby on deck, the Orioles opted to walk the more dangerous Junior Felix.
That's Frank Robinson saying, listen, Mr. Mosby, I don't think you can come through in the clutch.
Fly ball, deep left field, back. Off the wall, the Blue Jays win it. The Jays win it. Liriano scores, Mosby does it. Lloyd Mosby comes through.
Now, 2 games up on Baltimore and a chance to clinch. Next day, fans demonstrated their undying faith in the Blue Jays.
We are number one. Say we are number one. We are number one. Say we are number one.
Encouraging words, but the SkyDome was full of discouraging signs in Game 2. The Orioles jumped past a 1-0 Blue Jay lead and went ahead 3-1. The Blue Jays couldn't believe their fate. Just before the game, rookie Dave Johnson replaced starter Pete Harnisch, who stepped on a nail the night before. And now Johnson was 2-hitting Toronto. The Blue Jays were getting impatient, and in the 8th inning, marshaled their offensive forces. Spelling another comeback, Mookie Wilson found some open spaces and brought Toronto within a run. The crowd wanted more and got it from Big Fred McGriff.
Grip to right, base hit. Juicy scores. Mookie going to third. This game is tied 3-3.
Then in the bottom of the 8th, the Blue Jays broke loose with a runner on third, and up at the plate, George Bell.
Strike one pitch to Bell. Swing, looped into right center. Deep, back goes Finley. It's playable. He makes the catch. Mookie tags. He scores! The Blue Jays lead it 4-3.
It stayed that way, and in the 9th, on the brink of a clinch, the Blue Jays put a 1-run lead into the hands of Tom Henke. One out. The SkyDome primed and pumped and impatiently waiting. A swing and a bouncer down to third. Gruber's got it. Fired to first, and there, 2 away. 1 out away. They are on their feet. White scarves everywhere. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and the Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays are on their way to the 1989 American League Championship Series. And the Blue Jays stage another big late inning comeback to win it. They have won the East. Finally delivering on an old promise that seemed unreachable 3 months ago.
We played good baseball in the 8th inning. It was the kind of baseball that you got to play to win ball games, and we're a champion. You know, we played great. We deserve to be here, and it's a great feeling. This is what it's all about.
I think that it really shows the Cashers ball club and being able to win ball games when you're not playing well. As far as Oakland, we're going to be up for Oakland if we'd have won this game 10-0. I mean, no, we go there now for the, the pennant. I mean, if you can't get up for that, something's wrong with you.
We had a good time in 85, but we didn't have to battle back this hard in 85, and I would say it's a great time for us and me.
October 1st, the Blue Jays close out the season champions of the American League East. 3 days later, Toronto went to Oakland for Game 1 of the playoffs. Right from the start, the Blue Jays had a painfully clear picture of Oakland's dominance. Ricky Henderson almost single-handedly ran off with the first 2 games, stealing 6 bases and vexing the Blue Jays at every turn. The A's also got help from their more conventional forces. And before Toronto could put a stop to the onslaught, Oakland led 2 games to none. The forecast for Game 3 might have called for more of the same, but undaunted by the A's, Blue Jay fans offered inspirational messages.
Put down on Front Street at the Dome, the game's starting and we feel at home. The Jays pitcher is set to throw and the sounds of hand clap it starts to grow. And we're glad to say we're with the Jays. They're gonna beat the Oakland A's. Too bad they had to come from the West just to see that the Blue Jays are the best.
Sing with me now. All the way with the Blue Jays. All the way, that's the way it's gonna be.
Still more uplifting signs from the record crowd of 50,000 as the Blue Jays found the counterpunch needed to undo a 3-0 deficit. In the 4th, Storm Davis got rattled when Tony Fernandez turned the SkyDome upside down.
Ground ball, base hit, right field. Mookie scores. Canseco drops it in the corner. McGriff around third. Heading home. The throw. He slides. He scores.
The eruption continued moments later when up came Ernie Whitt.
Ernie Whitt up, loops at the center, dropping, base hit. Here comes Fernandez. He scores. The Blue Jays lead Oakland 4-3.
And they kept pouring it on and went into the 9th leading by 4. The rest was left to Tom Henke. That did it as the Blue Jays brought their winning streak under the dome to a perfect 11-0. More importantly, they came back to beat Oakland. But in Game 4, elation turned back to frustration. Toronto's recurring nightmare was back. This time, Ricky Henderson bowled them over with power, hitting 2 home runs. Jose Canseco regained his power and launched one into another zone. Before the Blue Jays could recover, Dave Stewart got the best of them in Game 5. Blue Jay fans pleaded for runs, and the Blue Jays rallied. They came forging back, and for the 2nd straight time scored 3 runs after the 6th inning. But they couldn't catch Oakland, and the pennant went to the world champion A's.
Our guys never stopped playing. They never stopped battling. You can tell by the last 2 games. I mean, we never quit. And I'm real proud of all of them, and they should go home and be proud of themselves, too.
They just beat us in every aspect of the game. They had defense, hitting, pitching, so, you know, they were the better team this year, and they'll have to beat us again next year because we're going to be right back here again.
In the end, the dream slipped away, but the Blue Jays were still champions, and the SkyDome echoes with the memories of a thrilling summer.
I thought I had it this time. I thought the dream would be mine.